Hello there, and welcome to Together for Seniors, Meals on Wheels of Rhode Island's social media video series showcasing opportunities for our state's older adults to be connected to their communities as they age independently. I'm Meghan Grady, Executive Director here at Meals on Wheels of Rhode Island. We have a great segment for you today. Joining us is Xaykham. He's the Senior Vice President at Webster Bank and one of our good friends here at Meals on Wheels of Rhode Island. So, Zai, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, Megan.
Zai, you've been active in representing Webster Bank with Meals on Wheels, especially during our annual March for Meals campaign. We were just together a few weeks ago delivering a meal in North Providence. So, could you give our audience an overview of Webster's ties to Meals on Wheels of Rhode Island and its commitment to philanthropy?
Thanks, Megan. Well, Webster has been a sponsor of Meals on Wheels, March for Meals since 2013, right after I joined the bank. And I've been lucky enough to represent the bank every one of those years since. It's part of the overall commitment that Webster Bank has to not-for-profit institutions and organizations within our community that help strengthen the communities that we live and work in. Now, throughout that entire period, every year, Webster's obviously supported through sponsorships and grants, but also volunteer hours. Across our footprint, our bankers donate over 100,000 hours of volunteer service hours every year. And organizations like Meals on Wheels are absolutely critical to the work that we like supporting within the community because they really do make sure that our communities are stronger and more resilient at the end of the day. This year, that was really important. And one of the things that I particularly enjoy about being a sponsor of the bank sponsoring Meals on Wheels is the opportunity it gives us to actually get out there and see some of the people that we're impacting and helping with our support of Meals on Wheels. So as you noted, this year that was going out to North Providence to deliver a meal to one of Meals on Wheels' many recipients. And I knew from prior years that Meals on Wheels always brings a special celebrity guest. And by celebrity guest, I mean one of our government partners. And that if I wanted to get any word in edgewise before everybody was starstruck, I had to get there a little early. So I got out there a little bit early to Mineral Spring Gardens, had a wonderful conversation with the meal recipient that we were meeting outside in the garden, socially distanced and safe, of course. And then, of course, we had our celebrity guest show up. Congressman David Cicilline, and it was like having Elvis there for a few minutes, and it was wonderful to see how the congressman really took a few minutes to talk with the meal recipient, Mr. Quilante, really kind of hear a little bit about his story and firmly understand the importance that Meals on Wheels has to our community. So thanks for involving me in that. It's one of my favorite points in the year, particularly in years like this when I feel like everybody's been so isolated that the opportunity to actually get out there and connect with people is really, really valuable.
Well, we very much appreciated having you there, and we thank you for your support. You mentioned isolation and COVID-19, and as a part of that, there's been a significant shift to doing things online. So many of our clients who were comfortable going into a bank maybe tried online banking for the first time during COVID-19. Any advice you can give to people that might be concerned about online banking and really like the digital banking atmosphere?
You know what really made it stick for me, the danger that online banking has in general to us that we just need to be aware of and be able to handle, is a cartoon strip I saw a number of years ago where there's a bank robber and he's at the teller desk and he has the gun and he's pointing it at the teller and she goes, you can do this all online now. And the reality is that when we start thinking about online banking, while it's an incredible added convenience for all of us, it's also an incredible point of vulnerability that we just need to be careful with and be aware of when we're logging in, that there's a fair amount of risk and exposure that we need to navigate and compensate for. One of the best ways to make sure that you protect your account is by having a strong password. That's a password that's a combination of both upper and lowercase letters, as well as a number and or a symbol. Try to choose a password that's not something that somebody might guess, like the name of your favorite pet, maybe your birthday, or your address, or even my favorite, I forget, right? That's actually a password I've seen before. Try to choose something that is that real combination that's going to be really difficult for somebody to figure out. Second, aside from having a strong password, make sure you check your accounts regularly. By checking your accounts regularly, we all grew up, I think, balancing our checkbooks. I don't know about you. I remember going into the bank branch, we had our passbook at first, and then someday we got a checkbook and we balanced it. I realize that's not as much the norm now, but it's still really important to make sure that you get on there and you regularly check your accounts for any sort of irregular activity. And if you see something on there that doesn't quite make sense, you want to make sure that you call the customer service group at your bank immediately to report that activity. At Webster, our customer care center is available 24/7. They can be reached at 1-800-325-2424. But make sure that as soon as you see any activity that seems irregular, reach out and flag it for your bank. And oftentimes your bank will get to you as well with that. But it really takes everybody pulling together to make sure that we catch those irregular transactions. And then finally, right, make sure you do your research before you click on anything online or share any of your information online. One really good safety check that I always use is to make sure that the web URL starts with an HTTP semicolon backslash backslash, or that it has that little lock symbol that sits right up there in the URL bar. It's a really good way to make sure that the website you're interacting with is secure and it's the one that you intend to. Oftentimes, fraudsters will create links that look awfully close to the link that you might normally visit, maybe just one letter off or one symbol off, and that's their gateway into getting your personal information and access to your accounts. So be really careful when you log online. Think about these tips, and you'll be that much safer moving forward, and you can bank with confidence.
Well, Zai, we can't thank you enough for this excellent advice that you've provided today. And thank you for being with us at Together for Seniors.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for involving me and Webster Bank for yet another great year. Thanks, Megan.
You can stay in touch with Meals on Wheels of Rhode Island by visiting our Facebook page, our Twitter account, and we also have Instagram. And most importantly, if you know of a senior who might be able to benefit from our home delivered meal program, you can make a referral on our website, rimeals.org. Stay in touch.